Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Killian, Coriander, we're gonna be talking about Dark Fate. And that means that we're deep into dark territory. All right. So the sixth Terminator movie in the franchise, and this is going to be an interesting conversation. I want to start off with just a quick take from you guys. Kill, we've talked about this a few times, and it's been interesting conversations each time. So give me a quick take on what you think of this movie, and then I'll go to you, Coriander.
This movie, they were willing to take more calculated risk. Gave us a little something different with the antagonist Terminator, which in a way he's kind of two Terminators in one. And they play around with a lot of the lore and history here, and of course the thing I love the most, they bring back Linda Hamilton. So yeah.
Yes. All right. Okay. How about you, Coriander? Now, this is again the first time you've seen this movie, just like 3, 4, and 5. So, what's your quick take on this movie?
Well, those ones didn't count, right? So.
Well, according to this movie,
no,
I'm just come on, man.
I'm just messing with you. No, I was glad that you had Sarah and you had Carl together again. So yeah.
All right. Okay. This movie, there's so much to talk about with this movie. I think it's such an interesting movie to talk about because they did a lot of things that I think worked very well. There were some things that, were kind of a little bit more of a left turn, so to speak. They definitely took the biggest chance in the franchise by doing something right in the beginning of the movie, and we will be talking about that has really divided the fan base. Kill, let's start this thing off. I'm just gonna say it. I still love Arnold. Okay, I just want to say that just to start this thing off, so everyone understands where I'm coming from personally.
He looked good.
Yeah.
Damn it, he did. All right, so Kill, start me off, man. Let's do this thing.
Okay. It's funny. I guess the one thing I'll say, just to get it out of the way, watching this movie is a lot like watching Terminator Salvation for me. Mm-hmm. Because when I first watched both of those movies, I kind of, even more on Salvation, I was like, I don't like this. Mm-hmm. This movie, when I first watched it, I said, man, they did a lot of good things in here that I did like, but I still don't know how I feel about it. But after repeat watching and viewing of this movie, I've grown to love this movie. And I hope I'm not jumping ahead here or whatever. But this one, I know everyone is divided on it because it's not T2, and if anything, it's trying to retcon a lot of the movies that we had to watch in this series, because essentially this is Terminator 3 pretty much, especially off of how it begins. But to answer your question, this movie, it begins with Linda Hamilton reprising the role of Sarah Connor. They have footage from the second movie of her in the psychiatric institute, talking about, the Judgment Day and so forth. And some really awesome special effects.
Doesn't it look just like friggin' Linda? Seriously.
Look, I'm not a professional, and you guys out there, you might, you have a better eye for this stuff.
Yeah.
But that looked like Linda Hamilton. There was no uncanny valley in the eyes or anything.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. They took some of that Marvel de-aging tech. But yeah, it starts off with her, doing the voiceover for Judgment Day, and then of course, it literally cuts to a scene of that's Edward Furlong,
Right?
And the Terminator finally gets him, and it is a sad scene. Because it's something that, we never thought we would see. And
right?
I thought it was a ballsy move to start this movie off with this because, say what you want about the CGI, the emotion that Linda Hamilton puts
Yes.
right here,
Yes.
as she witnesses her son die. And it looks like they're on vacation, or maybe just, Sarah let her guard down for 1 second just to drink a little mojito and just chill out.
Yeah.
And her son dies.
When you saw this movie, I know we talked about this, Kill, but we're doing this for the audience. When you saw this and you saw what happened to John, what was your reaction to it? Because this is one of the things that has divided the fan base so much.
I mean, it caught me off guard, and it made me a little sad, and it made me a little pissed off at first. Like, what? How you gonna do that? Like, what?
Right. Yeah. What about you, Coriander?
The first time I saw it, well, it was the first time, so yeah.
Right.
When I saw this, I was like shocked, disappointed, and it kind of like took me out of it, at least. Yeah, it kind of took me out of it.
Okay. All right. But let's go beyond that, and we're going to reference back to that, I'm sure quite a few times, maybe even with the chat, Kill. But let's go beyond that. They show the future, and it's a different type of future. It's something that we hadn't seen. I thought the effects were pretty good, and obviously the Terminator design is very similar to the one at Genesis. Some people have speculated that this is kind of like a low-key sequel to Genesis, with all the timelines being so skewed. But the first thing that happens is we see that time sphere that happens, and Mackenzie Davis, who plays Grace, comes out of it, and she just wrecks shop in this opening scene. What did you think of this, Kill? Run me through this.
I liked it. I liked it because, once again, we're changing things up,
Right.
Finally, let's give Kyle Reese a break. He's put in time, let's switch it up. Let's get like a strong woman to come through. Okay.
Right.
And I mean, it's the typical time warp teleportation orb, but a tall, naked, Caucasian lady falls out. All right, this is different. What's going on here? And we're in Mexico City. Okay. And when I first watched this, I didn't know what she was. I didn't know if she was just a human or what. I literally just assumed, okay, she's just the Kyle Reese of this movie. She's just a soldier from the future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Coriander? What were you thinking about in the beginning when you saw this? And of course, then we're pretty much the next scene we see is Gabriel Luna as the Rev 9. He comes through too. What were you thinking about how these Terminators, well, one of them being a Terminator, came through?
Yeah, I thought it was really cool, and I liked how this time, instead of, because all the other times that you showed them coming through in the time machine, it was hot, and I liked how this time it was cold. You had clothes that was on the line, freezing and shattering when it hit the ground, and I thought that was cool. And I thought Grace, damn, she kicked ass, and I kind of figured I just figured she was something. I didn't really think she was human, but yeah. And Gabriel, wow, that dude, Jesus, I mean, how could you defeat that? Well, we see how you can, but wow, that's incredible. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. You mean the fact that how he was so much more advanced than the other Terminators that we've seen. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I thought the special effects for it were pretty good too, man. I mean, obviously T2 is a better film, and everything about it is better, and what they were able to do for Robert Patrick at the time was phenomenal. But I gotta admit, man, this might be, on that level as far as what they were having Gabriel Luna's Rev 9 do and morph into, and how he was separate, he was doubles and stuff like that. It was really cool stuff. In the chat, Triv was saying, do you think they'll ever let things lie, or will they keep redoing and retconning stuff? You never know. You really never know.
Arnold's gone now. Carl's gone. So hopefully this is it.
Well, he was gone in the last. Well, he wasn't gone.
Well,
but,
I know.
what I'm saying is that. Yeah. Well, no, I know what you mean, but all I'm saying is nothing surprises me, because I really didn't know that they'd do something after Salvation, and here we are, 2 more after Salvation. So it's an interesting thing. I think they should, because we've talked about this before, and I know we're going to get off track a lot, so people watching, please bear with us, but it's such a simple story. There's not much to the story. It's basically a robot from the future goes into the past and has to kill someone, and you're trying to avoid it, run from it, or defeat it. That's basically what the Terminator story is. So since Terminator 1, they've tried to expand the mythology and create more complexity to the story, to varying degrees of success. What do you think of that, Kill? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, it is a simplistic story,
Very
but
much so.
the complexity comes in with the time travel. Because when you start messing with time travel, it's a slippery slope, and we have seen that in this franchise and in others. Well, if John's dad is Kyle, how does that happen? What came first, the chicken or the egg, and things of that nature. But one thing I will say is, just like you said, Knight, we didn't know there was going to be a Genesis. Well, after Salvation, Genesis or this movie. I think as long as people are fans of this franchise, they will keep making them. But we can't keep going to the Arnold well. And one thing I commend them for is they kind of do a little swerve here where you think Arnold is in this movie,
right?
Start to finish.
Yeah, he doesn't come in until halfway through.
Yeah. Arnold doesn't come in until like I would say like maybe like 40 minutes left in the movie. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you're right, because I thought about that as I was watching it, and I wrote it down in my notes. 66 minutes until Arnold showed up.
And for me, and this is just my opinion, guys, you guys in the audience as well, if I don't miss Arnold in a Terminator movie, or I'm not checking my watch like, when is Arnold going to come in? That's a good sign.
It is.
Because I whether it was the great special effects or the action sequences in here, or the fact that my girl is back, right. Linda Hamilton, I didn't miss Arnold. And in a way, I kind of was thinking, well, geez, the protagonist we're following in this movie almost has too many protectors, in a way.
And the thing of it is that, and one thing I did love in that clip that I showed for the intro and stuff, they needed all of them. They did. Let me just, and I know I keep saying this, and I'm sorry, guys. I know we're jumping around, but there's just so much about this. We might have to do a 2-parter for this episode. But that scene in the plane, I loved how, you had that scene where Arnold saved Linda. Linda shoots the Rev 9. Rev 9 pushes Linda out of the way. Rev 9 tries to get to Danny, and then Grace comes from behind, and then Arnold pushes the Rev 9. It was like ba-boom, 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 ba-boom.
Yeah,
I will say as far as action, this movie definitely did a good job. I don't think anyone can deny that. Other issues aside, very, very true. Casey was saying, I love the double parts. I think he was talking about the Rev 9 when he splits.
Yeah.
That was good. Was good.
You had his robot part flying the plane while the other part's coming out of a hole in the, the whatever he was flying, that helicopter. It was crazy ass shit.
And once again, that shows, Skynet or Legion, whatever you want to call it, updating on its design. Because it realized, okay, with the T-1000 that was strictly only liquid metal, maybe that's not the best design. Well, let's give it the hard exoskeleton like a T-800, but then let's also have the liquid metal over top of it. So this Terminator can be 2 separate units, and it's its own weapons. It makes its own liquid spears and so forth, but you still have that skeleton underneath. Great design.
The design was great. Much respect and love to the late great Stan Winston, because it all started from there. Monty G saying, which is better, Genesis or Dark Fate?
Dark Fate.
Wow, that was quick. What about you, Coriander?
Geez.
And if you can't answer it, you don't have to.
What? Yeah, I've only seen this movie once, and like Killian said in the beginning, it took him a few times to love it. So I'm like, not at the love stage, and I'm really not
Okay.
at the love stage for the other one either. So
I don't
I don't
blame
want
you.
to pick either.
Eric saying, I'm late, but I'm here. Didn't hate this one, but Carl in the drapery store, no, bad, and there's no going back from that. No torch holding for that. Eric, you gotta be joking me. That's the thing you're holding against this. All the movies that you hold a torch for, like Jason Goes to Hell, and you're gonna hold the fact that Arnold said a couple of jokes against. No, I'm just messing with you, man. I love you, Eric. You know that.
But Knight, what about you? You should answer the question too. This or Genesis?
Dark Fate.
Yeah.
You know? Because and I'm gonna tell you why.
Because it didn't have Jai Courtney, and that makes it better.
It didn't have Jai Courtney, and I think Genesis, the issue with John Connor being the villain, I just didn't buy into Jason Clarke in that role.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And they rehashed T1 and T2, and I don't think they necessarily had to. With this movie, it was a more linear story.
All right, so you swayed me towards this one, so I'd have
there
to.
You go. And the action was great. I mean, and again, Mackenzie Davis was much better than Jai Courtney or Sam Worthington.
Yes.
I mean, it's not even close. So there's my little thing for Dark Fate. Eric saying, my wife loves this series. This is the only entry that she couldn't finish. From John Connor to Carl and his family, she just didn't like it. Yeah, John. I mean, when John got killed, everybody got hurt some way, somehow.
Put off.
Some recovered and some didn't.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I have heard some people said that it didn't bother them. So, what are you gonna do? Frank was saying, my third favorite Terminator film. I like that they moved away from Skynet and had a different villain. Think John should have been working with his mother and died in the main body of the film, not as a flashback. Yeah, I can agree with that. I think that would have been better. Yeah, I think some of that was because of. Well, I don't know if it was because of Edward Furlong and the things he's been going through. I don't know, but whatever.
But you know, and it's interesting. We always look at this franchise and we always look at it as John's story. But for me, in a way, I look at it more as Sarah's story.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Because I mean, and I mean seriously, because it's her life that was just totally warped. And if you look at it from the stance of this is Terminator 3 and not the one that we got where she died of cancer or off screen or whatever, she's still been going strong. If you would look at it like Terminator 1, 2, and now this.
Yeah.
And I hope that Linda Hamilton doesn't mind reprising this role again, because now you have someone else that you can mentor.
Right. Yeah.
And build from here. But I have always kind of looked at these movies more like it's Sarah's legacy and her story. But
I agree. I absolutely agree. This is Sarah's story. This is a mother's story. To me, I agree with you 100%. Tripp was saying that Jai Courtney is good as Captain Boomerang, and that's about it.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah. Biffer saying Dark Fate flopped. Alita Battle Angel didn't do well. James Cameron in trouble. Did he lose his magic touch? We'll see, man.
I like Alita.
I know. When Avatar 2 comes out, we'll see. I put it this way: I don't want to bet against him when he's directing it. Producing is a totally different thing. You're just kind of hanging on the side. Frank saying you could have gotten Eddie Furlong in the cheap, not like he's in demand these days. Yeah. Monty saying, I still love Terminator 3. I love the female Terminator. Yeah, the TX. She was a good villain too. Yeah. Patrick says, there is no way Linda is doing another Terminator film. Patrick, Linda did not want to do Rise of the Machines and said she was done with the Terminator franchise, and she came back for this one. So I don't ever want to say absolutely. I agree there's a small chance, but like I said, I don't put anything against, anything's possible, man. Casey saying James Cameron made a big hubbub about getting the Terminator license back and then didn't even direct one. Well, that's because he's been so busy with Avatar for the last 80,000 years.
Yeah,
it better be good, man. From what I've seen.
You mean they're coming out with another one?
Yeah, they're coming out with 3 more.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he's been working on them for years. Yeah, I know.
Everything is coming back. The Matrix 4, Avatar, everything's coming back.
I saw that.
Eric saying, I need to watch this a second time to give it a fair shot. I didn't like the For John stuff. Arnold walking off to be a family man. Hated that stuff. Skynet defeated yet replaced by a second Skynet. Well, I think what it was kind of showing, and Kill, I'll let you jump in and then you Coriander, because we're way off topic, but that's okay. I think what it was showing, the big thing I took away from this movie is Armageddon is inevitable.
Yes.
There is absolutely no way that it can be stopped indefinitely. At some point, whether it's a week after it was supposed to happen, 3 months after, 50 years later, it's going to happen. And the machines will take over some way, somehow, and some AI will take over. And that's kind of where I'm at with this whole thing. Where
and there's always going to be people figuring out new technology, this type of weapon and shit. So
that's true. And in this storyline, by John being killed, it warped the timeline, but it just showed that even though they stopped Skynet in part 2, once he was killed, it was a ripple in time, and the AI or the machine still took over. Is that how you took this one, Kill?
Yeah. And if we didn't learn anything from Terminator 3, like you said, Knight, this is inevitable. You know, it's always going to happen. It's just, what name is it going to go by? Oh, well, Cyberdyne Systems didn't create Legion. Tesla created Legion, okay? Or, who knows? Google created Legion. So it's inevitable, and it's also kind of like a gut punch of Sarah has dedicated her entire life to this aspect of stopping this.
Right.
Her son died, in the process, and it's inevitable. It's always going to happen, just by a different name.
Yep. Eric saying, but the characters here are good. The action is good. It needs a rewatch for me. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. And then let me know what you think, buddy. Toon Lad saying, here in the England, we'd already heard about John Connor getting killed before it went to theaters. Really affected box office performance, at least here anyways.
Oh,
wow. Yeah. That was a huge spoiler too, man. Wow. Monty G saying there are 3 more avatars in the works. Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Eric's, well, not when it was the number 1 movie of all time for like 15 years. It's not.
Yeah.
They're trying to get more of that money. No, but I know what you mean. It is crazy. Yeah. Eric saying, I doubt Linda will return if James Cameron is involved as he was in this. If he's not, it's possible. Neil saying, I guess at some point I need to actually watch Avatar. Yeah, give it a watch, man. Give it a watch. Brian saying, Arnold as a Drake person I thought was silly. Well, I'm of 2 minds on that. I mean, he is a robot that completed his mission. Yeah.
So now he's also a learning machine.
Right.
So all right, I killed this kid. Now I'm just gonna kind of, walk the earth and learn and do things, and he found a new mission, to protect the exactly. And I thought that was actually kind of cool. Even on my first viewing, I thought that was cool.
And the other thing too, I think it's also because it took a different approach than the other movies. Because in all the other movies, his persona is always, the biker, and he's, and so in this one they kind of swerved it a little bit, which, again, me and Killian, we've talked about this a lot of times, and Coriander, you've said the same thing. With these franchises, as you go further along with them, you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. If you keep doing things that are similar that people love, they're going to say it's not fresh anymore. But if you try to do something different, it rubs people the wrong way a lot of times automatically without them giving it a chance. So franchises, any franchise, especially these ones we've talked about, they all run into the same problem eventually. Do you do something different, or do you stay in the same lane? And it's tricky. It's really tricky. Frank saying the Drape stuff isn't what I hated. Oh, hold on. Eric was saying the Drape stuff isn't what I hated so much, but now he's a family man with a woman and a son. The woman questioned nothing about how he would act. Yeah, they said that too in the movie. They're like, how did she not know?
And it's not like they didn't have like a sexual relationship. He was just
they
there.
Did explain that.
Yeah, like protecting them.
And also, he's an infiltration unit. So I mean, he could just be like this big secretive guy who cares for her in a non-sexual way, and she appreciates that.
Some relationships are like that, you know.
Yeah,
So I don't know. It didn't bother me too much. I just love Arnold, so I mean, maybe I'm being biased that way. But okay, but let's jump into the story a little bit. I know we kind of went all over the place, but Kill, let's start when Grace first comes. That scene we showed earlier when she first comes to rescue Danny and kind of get this ball rolling. What'd you think of this scene? I mean, between her especially and Gabriel Luna.
I thought it was badass, and I enjoyed seeing Gabriel Luna. Shouts out to him on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as Ghost Rider. You know, and I thought he was a badass Terminator. I mean, he was cold. He was just as cold as you know, the T-1000, just as smart and ruthless as the T-800, and as deadly as the TX. So it was just like this, and he could make two of him. So it's like, geez. And I also, and this is just, I love the black exoskeleton with the red eyes. I did too. It's just something really creepy about the way that looks, and the fact that his head isn't fully formed. Yeah. You know, it's not fully covered. And I just thought it was, everything about that design was just badass.
Yeah. What'd you think of those scenes, Coriander? And then when they're on the highway, I thought this chase scene, I'm not gonna lie, man, we raved about the Rise of the Machines chase scene, and that was fantastic. But I think this one was pretty darn good too. What'd you think, Coriander?
It was, like you say, the action in this movie was like nonstop. It was really good. So I can't say anything bad about it. And I mean, seeing when you first when you first see him split, you're like, what the hell's going on? Yeah, right? It's fucking crazy.
I was like, what is this mother doing, man? It just it looked good, man. I mean, it really did. The special effects were very good. There you go, Kill, right there. And then
that's nightmare fuel.
Nightmare fuel. There's that it's not fully formed head there, man. That was pretty cool stuff, man. But obviously, we get to this point, and you know, Grace is trying to do everything she can do. She basically says all you can do is just hold it off for a few seconds, and then here she comes, Kill. Who is the Kill? Who is
look. Can I just say something? Linda Hamilton, I love you. I've had a crush on you my entire life. All I gotta say is this: when she rolls up in that truck, and it's so cool, like this truck barely comes to a full stop before she just kind of gets out, and just has the gun just right there and just lifts it up. It's just bam, no questions, no hello, no hi, I'm Sarah. It's just, I've been doing this for a while. Let's get to the gangster shit. Bow. And I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, man. And Coriander, of course, again, I know I keep saying it, but I just like to give the audience a sense of this. This is the first time you ever saw this, and you didn't know. I didn't know.
I was like, what? I'm like, she died of cancer. I'm like, what the hell is she doing here?
Coriander was all messed up because she didn't know if Arnold was in it. She didn't know if Linda Hamilton was in it. She didn't know anything. But once you saw her taking care of business every day, what'd you think?
Well, it took me a few to get past, like, holy shit, she's actually fucking here and doing this. So she's badass. I mean, she was badass, and she was so fragile in the first movie, and you saw how she progressed into this woman that she is today, and wow, incredible.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Shout out to the OGs like Linda Hamilton and Jamie Lee Curtis, man. I mean, seriously, man. Let me just say something. And again, this is just a conversation, guys. We're free flowing. We're live. We're not scripted. We're just talking. But I think it's cool to see that nowadays, because for years we've been able to see that with the fellas. We've been able to see older Sean Connery, older Clint Eastwood, older Tom Atkins, and you name them. And it's cool to see some of these older ladies be able to be marquee. I think it is.
Well, it took Linda, it took her like a year to physically get ready for this film. Yeah.
Nice.
Shit.
And it shows.
It showed, man. She looked good. She really did.
I think she had, like, I don't know how many trainers and like doctors. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Real quick too, Eric was saying exactly. Try something different. It's taking a chance. People will like it or hate it. It's all a matter of preference. It's all good. Hashtag Jason Worms for life. Yeah. Monty says if you're going to try something different, the story has to make sense in order for the audience to care about it. Very, very true.
Yeah.
Toon Lad saying, I think when it comes to later sequels or reboots, remakes, they either stray too far from the original or don't add anything fresh. Either way, you're alienating your target audience. Tricky situation. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying too, man. Absolutely. Brian saying Linda Hamilton is badass in this film and T2. Yes, she is. Oh my gosh, man. Patrick saying Maggie Smith and Judi Dench, badasses. Absolutely.
Helen Mirren.
We said it at the same time, boy. Yes.
You can't forget Helen. Come on now.
Yeah, never forget. Eric saying Linda was great here, hands down. Yes.
Yeah.
Toon Lad saying it's good to have strong female characters in film, especially the older ladies. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. They deserve it. And especially people, like we just mentioned some of these ladies. And when you think about Linda Hamilton, I mean, she made such a huge impact with this character. And it was very cool that they respected her as an actress and respected the character to give her a lot of meat on the bone for this film, because she really did a lot of great acting.
If you notice, she got top billing in the credits.
Yep.
Arnold was below her.
Mm-hmm. So we're talking about all the ladies, but I got to give some props to Danny. Okay, Mexico, big up. Look, she is our avatar. You know, she is our window into this. She is Sarah from the first Terminator movie. She's Sarah at the end of the first Terminator movie. Yes. And this actress, you see her character, and the thing about it is, some people will say, "Oh, she was annoying. But come on, you got to be honest. If you see some crazy shit like this pop off, something that just looked like your dad and got gunned down, this robot is trying to kill you, all this stuff." You would be, a little, scared and messed up too, because we try to forget that that's how Linda Hamilton was in the first one, and we try to give a pass to that. Linda Hamilton did some stuff that we could consider, oh, that was stupid. Why is she running from Reese and this and that?
Right.
And Danny does some of the same stuff in this. Yep. So I see very much shades of this. And then, of course, with Danny, I'm not going to go too much into spoilers here. There's a big turn as to who Danny really is and what she means to the future. That's like, oh shit. So shouts out to her too. All strong female leads in this movie, and all these women are badass in their own way. And
you're right, because if you really think about it, Linda Hamilton in T1, I mean, she was really running for her life on the edge and scared right up until the end, when Reese threw the pipe bomb in the big rig, and it blew up, and he was injured, and that's when Sarah started to finally kind of really turn a little bit, saying, "On your feet, soldier," and that's really when because she had to, and she stood up, and that's really the first time in the first movie where she got to that level. So I agree, there's a lot of parallels between her and Danny. But speaking of Sarah and Coriander, I'll throw it to you. We got to go back to that scene when she first sees Arnold, and this is when Arnold first comes into the movie. 66 minutes into the movie, which is about halfway into the movie, she sees Arnold. They play that fantastic theme, in the moment, the Terminator thing. What did you think of this scene and how it played out?
Wow, I mean, she's standing with her child's killer. I mean, she's been looking for this guy. I feel like she's been looking for this guy and waiting for the day for, just like she said, to kill him. So and the look on her face, I mean, wow, it was good. She's good.
She was Linda, man. We've missed Linda Hamilton in movies. We really have. Go ahead, Kel.
Right.
Well, and one other aspect that you really got to think about is she had an adventure with a Terminator that looked just like that in the second movie.
Yes.
That Terminator was kind of like a surrogate father figure for her son.
Yeah.
And then to have that same model that looked like Arnold, a different model, that looked like Arnold to be the killer of her son.
Yeah.
She has dealt with this one trying to kill her. Like, I've dealt with one that looked like you that tried to kill me, one that looked like you that helped me protect my son, one that looked like you that killed my son, and now you're in front of me. So this woman has been put through the ringer.
Yeah.
Seriously, think of that. Like, and I love just her acting here. As soon as she sees him, barely, and then music kicks in.
Oh,
she's like, you son of a look, hey, she had one of those Dr. Loomis moments. Like, hold up.
She did.
I'm not asking questions.
Right? No warning shots.
Yeah.
Real quick too in the chat. Quasi saying, Killian, you're making it easy for me to send these machines after you macking on my woman.
You got good taste.
Eric saying, regardless of what happened to John, that CGI of him and a young Sarah at the beginning was fantastic. It was. It looked oh my God, it did, man. We got to give some credit to this thing, man. I know a lot of people are upset about it, but Biffer saying, rank these 3 franchises from best to worst: Terminator, Aliens, and Predator. Now, we did that last week.
Yeah, we did.
We did that last week, so you got to watch that episode, Biffer. But we might answer it again. But I'm just trying to catch up to all of you guys. Drake saying, if we're talking all around Aliens, Terminator, and okay, he's answering it. Okay, here we go. Toon Lad saying, Linda had gone from scared little waitress to badass warrior. It was amazing.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Casey saying, Terminator's the only one out of those 3 franchises that I've still been kind of excited to watch each sequel. All right. All right.
I've been excited for Alien.
Yeah, I still hang out with Alien, So then we get to the scene, that Eric doesn't like, and it's Arnold as a family man. But let's just talk about it for a second without going too far, I guess, Kill. But what did you think about it when you first saw it?
I thought it was cool. I thought it was weird, but weird in a good way, because they're doing something different. I mean, come on, guys. We all expect, Arnold, the Terminator, just being the biker gear and the sunglasses. Yes. And I love that he had that scene where I'm gonna put the sunglasses on. He's like, nah. This Terminator has been in the past now for a very long time. Yeah. He completed his mission. We finally have gotten to see, man, what would a Terminator do after it accomplished its mission? Would it self-terminate? Would it
he said he had no more purpose until he found his family.
Yeah, so essentially he assigned himself a new mission. He might have been like, hey, she's fine. I want to protect her or whatever. I don't know. But essentially he wanted to study, like Coriander just said, study humanity more. He's an infiltration unit. That's part of their programming. Observe, learn, duplicate. That's infiltration. You observe, you learn, and then you duplicate and replicate it. Oh, hi, hey, I'm Carl. And he's blending in. He's a sleeper agent.
Right. Yeah. What did you think of it, Coriander?
When I learned of what Carl became, it's like, it reminded me of like Blade Runner. These androids, they adapt and learn and gain, you don't want to say feelings, but in that scene when he told Sarah that he understood what he took from her, I mean, come on, that shows you right there that, wow, I thought it was great.
Excellent comment. Thank you.
And one other quick thing, and we learned this in T2, that the T-800 especially can learn, because he was learning from Edward Furlong. He was teaching him, and he was teaching him humanity.
His company, right? It was, what did he, right? I'm trying to put the name on the van. Do you have a picture of it?
Carl's Draperies.
Draperies?
Oh, well, there was like a quote or something. Oh, there isn't. Okay, never mind.
Okay.
Continue, shit.
But let me also throw something out here too, and I might be getting a little deep here, Kill, but I know you'll understand because, obviously we've watched him since we were little. But when he said that part about he understood what I understood what I took from you, And then of course, and you know, I'm not trying to get all sappy, but I mean, I'm a huge Arnold Schwarzenegger fan, so that's just, it is what it is. I can't deny that. When he had that scene, when he told his family he was leaving, and he was, you know, it was kind of afar, you didn't hear it, and then when Danny asked, what did you say to them, and he said, you know, I told them that the time I told them may come has come, yada yada yada. And he said, then I told them that I won't be back. You know, it felt like, one, I'm not gonna lie, I got a little sad about it, because it felt a little bit like Tim Miller was also tipping a hat to Arnold and what he means to this movie, but also to just to movies, you know. And it was kind of, I guess what I'm saying is Arnold had some good acting moments in this movie, some pretty nice moments. Now again, maybe it's just because I'm a fan, but that's what I thought. What did you think, Kill?
Yeah, I thought, you know, as much as you can have emotion about a robot, or you know, an android saying goodbye to his humans, think about in the short period of time in T2 that he was with John, especially just John, but Sarah. It was a few days, you know, altogether. All of that took maybe a let's say a week, 1 week.
Right.
He learned a lot in just 1 week. He's been with this family for maybe 20 years,
longer than that.
30 years,
30-something years.
Yeah, and he has helped raise this little boy, and been the only father figure in his life, and the only husband type figure in her life, coming from an abusive husband. Right. I mean, there's time there. And of course, he even says it, you know, the
equivalent of a conscience.
Yeah. Did you grow a conscience? And he said, you know, I'm a learning robot. You know, I grew the equivalent of it. So I realized what I took from you. But still, even when he said that, he was like, hey, but a job is a job. I was programmed to do it. You know, I had no say in the matter. Right. But I do feel if he's ingratiated with humans that long, he's going to learn, and he's going to evolve a little bit. Yeah, as much as a Terminator can feel remorse.
Yeah. And you know, also that scene where he was looking in the mirror, and I played it at the end of the intro because I just had to have it in it. Because I really love that he kind of had that look in the mirror. You know, he's got his leather jacket on, and he picks up the glasses, and it's almost like, again, it just felt like it was a little bit of a wink and a nod, you know, showing a little bit of respect, because obviously, you know, without
but not
Arnold,
only that, he was like in the killing mode then, you know what I mean? So it's almost like he was different, and he didn't need those.
Good point. I never looked at it like that. That's a very good point. But it's just very nostalgic, man. I really enjoyed it. But let's get to the finale of this. I mean, they're running away. You know, they're doing some action shit. It's all cool shit. You know, Arnold's got a gun. That always makes us happy. But the Rev 9 is coming, man. And look, man, he was devious, man. And you had that fantastic plane sequence. Kill, tell me, man, I just thought that this sequence was so damn good, man. It really, really was.
You know, I would put this sequence up with some of the best action sequences I've seen. You know, like the sequence. I mean, you're in the plane. The plane, like, you know, is going all over the map. It's damn near crashing, and they see him coming, and that's what's so cool. They're not running. They ran to the end of the plane to, like, all right, let's just start shooting at them, and to see those mortal enemies, you know, Sarah and the T-800 side by side. That. Come on.
Come on, man. I love that poster.
And once again, this is an evolved Sarah. Okay, because we thought Sarah was badass in T2. Yeah, and she was. Keep this in mind, everybody. Seriously. She said, I've been killing these things ever since. Right. That means she's been killing them herself.
Yeah.
Do we realize that? Like, ever since John got killed and Carl's been feeding her the info, she's killed at least, I don't know exactly how many it's been, like, but 3 or 4 of them on her own.
Right. Even if she killed one alone, that's like more than what she ever did alone before.
Yeah. So this is like, you know, for all you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been because she said, "Oh, I've kept getting these coordinates, and every time they come, bang, I put it down." She's like the Punisher, you know.
Right.
But
Definitely.
for all you Dragon Ball fans, you'll get this reference. This is like Sarah's final form. She is an experienced Terminator hunter and killer, and she's able to do it on her own with our older weaponry. So she is skilled. Like, so to see those two side by side, like, hey, let's do this. You know, it was awesome. It was awesome.
Neil was saying, not gonna lie, I really like Dark Fate. It delivered a lot of things I didn't know I wanted to see until I saw them.
Exactly.
Right. There you go. Eric saying, I didn't mind Carl having no purpose. I just didn't like him playing husband and father as the solution. I'd rather him be walking around as a drifter. It doesn't ruin the movie. Far from it. All right. Casey saying, I gotta head out, but always enjoy hearing you all talk Terminator. Gotta catch up on this and all the other ones later. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for hanging out, and take it easy. We'll be talking. We appreciate you stopping by, Casey.
One thing I'll say real quick. As far as seeing the Terminator be a father figure, I know how we all kind of feel about Genesis, but Pops, he essentially raised Sarah in that movie.
Right.
And then also, in T2 with young Edward Furlong. So this is not like the first time we've seen a Terminator be like a father figure.
Good point. I didn't even think of it like that.
Yeah.
It was like
you all right, man.
Hey man, look! I took notes for this one because I was like, man, I didn't realize I really do like this movie this much now because, and I forgot who just said it in the chat, but it did things I didn't know I wanted in a Terminator movie. So
yeah, good point. And then obviously the final fight against the Rev 9. Again, they have to tag team this son of a bitch, and I think that. Triple, yeah. Well, quadruple. Danny got in it too.
Yeah, Danny was badass by this time.
Yeah, I just thought they did a lot of cool things against the Rev 9, and it like I said, it was a great fight. Coriander, what were you thinking about the fight against the Rev 9 at the end?
It was great, and obviously it was sad that Grace had to use her, give up her power source to actually kill this Terminator that's unstoppable. So, that was, a bummer. But yeah, I mean, it was a great sequence.
Yeah, I thought it. And the other thing too is that, and again, like you said, Kill, shout out to Gabriel Luna, because every time he was doing something, you really felt like he was just a split second from just annihilating Danny or whoever he was going after. And Arnold and Grace were just like, just that split second away from stopping it, and so I guess what I'm saying is the action was pulse pounding. I'll use that term, and it was very, very captivating. But once they get him in the shaft there, who's left, Kill? Who's left?
Captain America with the shield.
Listen, man. All I gotta say is this. I know we keep saying this, and I know I don't want people to be like, all right, guys, you keep saying, but I'm just saying, man, Linda Hamilton was such a badass in this movie. Even just the posturing, and you just believe that she's Sarah Connor. You believe that she's this warrior that's been doing this for damn near 40 years or whatever it's been. And she was just fantastic in it. But then you see Danny. This is Danny's moment where she started to rise above, when she started to, make plans and make decisions. But she literally went right at the Rev 9. And I got to admit, it was cool to see. Kill this finale. And of course, we know Arnold has to do his thing. What were you thinking?
Well, one thing I want to touch on is by this time, we learn that Danny is not the Sarah Connor of the future. She is the John Connor of the future. Okay.
Yes.
And I love when they realize this, especially Sarah. She's like, wait a second, you're John of the future.
Yeah.
And the way that we learn that is really brilliant. And why can't she be John of the future? I loved it. And one thing also that it's like with Sarah, with Linda Hamilton, a switch flipped in her. I'm going to protect this woman. because this is my second chance. This is a redemption for me too. This is a This is a mother that, okay, I have another chance. I'm gonna protect her, and if we make it out of this, I'm gonna mentor you, and you are gonna become a badass John. I mean, seriously. And I loved it. And of course, you know, the way that they're fighting, you're seeing teamwork that we've never really seen, like on a scale of these movies. I mean, normally she has one person protecting her, or a Terminator, or it's Sarah and her son, you know, but this one, they're smart. Okay, we're gonna have the heavy guns go in first, these two. Boom. The final line of protection for her is Sarah with her shotgun. And right there it just says it, like, she's ready. She will die for Danny, you know. But also by this time, Danny, like you said, has become a little bit more secure with this and brave, and she takes it to Gabriel Luna, and it's a great sequence, and sad, of course, also because you know Grace and so forth. But I thought it was really awesome, and just the fact of, wow, this whole movie, we've been just thinking, oh, this woman is just going to give birth to the real hero. And then once again, something that I didn't know that I wanted in a Terminator movie, or that we needed, they flip it on its head. Like, no, she is the savior. This Mexican woman is the savior of the future. And I'm like, yeah, let's do this. I like this, man. You know, I thought it was awesome.
And also, in Coriander, I'll throw this to you too. When Arnold obviously sacrificed himself to keep the Rev 9 in the blast and so forth, and you know, obviously, look, man, I'm man enough to admit it. It always kind of gets me in the feels because, you know, I'm just an Arnold fan. It just, you know, because for me, I always think about all of these movies, you know, and just what he's always meant to me as a movie fan, what he's meant to me for my family. You know, we all were Arnold fans in our household growing up and beyond. But what did you think of it? I mean, how did it hit you? And of course, right before he was deactivated, he said, "For John." And how did it hit you, Coriander?
You know, it's almost like when Sigourney, you know, jumped in the pool of, you know, flaming, whatever that hot liquid shit was. You know, she was sacrificing herself to save, you know, the people, you know, wherever she was in that jail. So, you know, this is like, it was great, because Arnold, again, he always sacrifices himself. He always seems to sacrifice himself. And it was sad because I kind of took it like his farewell, like, this is it, you know? So, yeah,
very much so, man. And like I said, you know, I just, for me, those moments like that, and when he looked in the mirror and when he said, "I won't be back," I just thought that was a way for them to kind of just, you know, the wink and the nod to pay respect, man. I mean, you know, people can say what they want about Arnold, but there's no doubt that he's made an indelible mark on movie history, you know, and especially when you're talking about action and sci-fi movies. But, you know, another thing I noticed too, Kill, is when Linda Hamilton looked down there. Again, Linda was putting in work. Just the look that she gave. This shot almost looks just like that same shot at the end of T2 with her and Edward Furlong. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I would assume that might have been on purpose. I don't know, from Tim Miller, but you just saw the looks in her eyes, man. And again, you know, shout out to Linda Hamilton. And like I said, man, it was a good finale to me. Real quick too in the chat, let's finish up here for these guys. Eric was saying, "I love how you guys are finally the ones holding the torch for a film that the majority didn't care for. We've come full circle. These conversations are why I love you three, no matter my thoughts." Eric, thanks a lot, man.
Thank you, Eric.
We love you too, man. And it's all good, man. And I always have felt that way. People can like what they like, you know, and if you can have a good discussion about it, that's what makes it fun. Because sometimes you can learn a lot from other people, and I've learned a lot from you too, Eric. He's saying the passion for the movies you love, that's what makes great conversation. Yeah, I totally agree. So, anyways, guys, that's pretty much the end of it. One more question I want to ask, and I know this might really piss off people. We First of all, if I just want to say this, and also for you guys in the chat, as usual, please give the video a like. We appreciate it. We love you. Please give a comment. You guys know the drill. If we haven't hit 600 subs yet, we're almost there. We appreciate everyone that has supported us, old and new, especially you guys that are with us all the time, like Eric and all you guys, Strange Monkey, Slasher Fred, Gore, all you guys, Biffer. So we might lose some subs right here. But here's the question. Here's the question, Kill. But I'm not afraid to ask it because I just want to know. This is a hot button topic. This movie, you know. Do you think this movie is woke or too woke?
No.
Okay.
No. I think this movie.
Because that's what a lot of people say. That's what a lot of people say that have an issue with it.
Well, I wouldn't say woke. I would use the word maybe more progressive, because this movie with this cast wouldn't have been made in the 80s or 90s.
No.
Hell, it probably wouldn't have been made in the early 2000s. A predominantly female cast, your main hero, final protagonist, the hero of the future is a Mexican woman. Which I have no problem with that at all. Your evil Terminator, Gabriel Luna. So it's just a thing of, it's a new day, man. It's 2021. Like,
Yeah.
look, I mean,
People have to
hey,
get over themselves.
yeah. So anytime I see a movie, this movie has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It has so many characters of color. It's like, guys, come on. Either you like the movie or you don't like the movie. But let's stop using these labels. Like, it's just, hey, this movie came out in 2019.
Yeah, 2019.
Okay, it's the 2019 installment of a Terminator movie, and it has a predominantly female cast. Okay, so you still got Arnold, and he's big enough for 4 or 5 men.
Right?
Come on.
Right? Cool. So, okay, and Coriander, you agree with Kill?
Yeah, and can I just say too, today when we went and saw Candyman, we saw a preview for a movie called Wendigo. And that has native legend in it. And I thought that was pretty sweet to hear native tongue on the big screen. I had never heard, because I didn't see, Dances with Wolves in the theater. I didn't see, so this is like the first time that I had heard, native language on the big screen. And it was great.
Yeah.
So, for people to be, there's more than just one type of person in the world.
Right.
And people have to get over themselves. Honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And also, and when you think about the fact, because you say, it's predominantly female cast, and it is, but like you said, and this is so true, those first 2 Terminator movies, that was Sarah Connor's story, and as far as I know, she is all woman. And that was back in 1984 and then in 91. So, this franchise is not new to that idea of trying to have that broader range, you know what I mean? So
it just shows all along how badass women are, because we are, and you guys got to get over it, and just accept it.
Absolutely, man. And I'm gonna tell you, like I said, the action in this movie, look, I don't want to get into it all, but seriously, I think this action in this movie was better than Salvation and Genesis, and it could rival Rise of the Machines. So, I mean, seriously, I love the action in this movie, and a lot of the action we saw was Linda Hamilton and Mackenzie Davis, and Natalia Reyes. She did some stuff too. So that's all I gotta say. So I don't think this movie is woke or too woke or whatever. I just think it's just a new day, man. We just got to keep moving forward. If you like a movie, you like it. Just keep an open mind till you actually see it. There's so many people, just like with Candyman. I don't want to get off too much, but I'm just fired up after today. There's so many people like, well, I'm not even gonna watch Candyman because it's a remake. It'll never be better than the first, and I hate it. It's like, dude, you haven't even seen it yet. At least see it. Or at least listen to informed persons about it so you get a sense of it. But there's a lot of people that are like that, unfortunately. But anyways, as we head on out, sorry guys, Frank says, I think they need to let the franchise rest for 10 years or so and come at it with a fresh cast and directors. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Let it rest a little bit. Monty saying, "You got that right, Eric. I love talking movies with you guys." Thanks a lot, man. We appreciate that. We love talking movies with you too. And by
Yeah.
the way, Monty did a great review on Exorcist 2. I was so proud of him. And yeah, that's all I'll say
Hey.
until Thursday, Monty. Brian saying, "You lost my sub night." Just kidding. Yeah, I know. But I bet you there might be some people that will, though. They'll be like, "Oh, we like those other Terminator episodes, but this is the one that broke the back." E- Eric saying, "Dude, you have 5 subs left to 600. You'll get there by tomorrow.
Wow.
I'm shouting you
Yeah,
guys
boy.
out tomorrow night during the stream,
Oh,
especially considering what we're
Aw.
talking about." Thanks a lot,
thanks,
man.
man.
Thanks.
We
Appreciate you.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
We appreciate
You're
it.
awesome, Eric.
Yeah, he is. He's in. He's in. Frank saying, "Good characters and good stories. Nothing else should matter." Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Monty saying, "No Candyman spoilers, please." No. We're not going to do any spoilers. No. I would never do that. Eric saying, "Woke as a negative term. It gets into people's heads. This movie is far from it." Amen, brother. Amen.
Yep.
So, anyways, guys, that's all we got. Please, in the comment section, let us know what you think about all these things. I feel like this episode was really, really nice because we went all over the place with you guys in the chat too. So definitely let us know in the comment section what you think about these different aspects of this movie, because it is a hot button topic. People, a lot of people are triggered by Dark Fate. And, we'll see how the comment section goes in the next few days, and people will be aiming at us. But all three of us did not hate this movie. I think all three of us at least liked it. Killian, you love it now after some multiple viewings. I can honestly say I do too, man. I had fun watching it, so it's very
rewatchable too, because the pacing is really good. It slows down like only like one time that I can think, and that's pretty much where Grace needed the medicine from the pharmacy. Other than that, this movie is boom, 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 boom.
Yes. We'll catch you guys later. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace out, guys.
Peace.